Good morning everyone. So today we will be discussing about duty, delta and base period. So in the previous slides we have been discussed about what do you mean by irrigation, what are the necessity of irrigation, what are the ill effects of irrigation and what are the types of irrigation that we followed in India. So today we will be discussing about the derivations, what do you mean by delta, duty and base period. So what do you mean by base period? It is a period in days from the first watering at the time of sowing to the last watering before harvesting. So base period means before we sow the any plants or any seeds, after that we plant, we first give the water to the plants. So from the first watering to the last watering before we harvest, that is known as base period. So next is duty. Duty is the area in hectares irrigated by 1 cubic per meter per second of water flowing continuously for the base period for a particular crop. So duty means it is the area in the hectares that we irrigated by 1 cubic per meter per second where the water is flowing continuously for the base period of a particular crop. So next is delta. It is the total depth of the water required by a crop during the entire period of the crop from the first watering to the last watering for complete maturity of the crop. So we can say that it is the total depth, or we can say it is the height of the water which is required by a crop during the entire period of the crop from the first to last watering. Okay, after that the plant have been harvested. So next, that is the derivation of the duty, delta and base period. So here you can see the D equals to duty in hectares per cubic, del equals to total depth of the water supplied in meters, B equals to base period in days. So if we take the area D hectares, then the water supplied to the field will be, the depth is equals to depth D into delta, that is hectares per meter, equals to D, all of us know D is derived here, duty, the D into del into 10 to the power 4 cubic meter. So it's equation 1. Again for the same field of the D hectare, 1 cubic of water is required to flow during the entire base period. So that is, you can see here 1 into B into 24 into 60 into 60 because is the base period in days. Okay, so you can see here 24 into 60 into 60 meter cube, that is the equation 2. So from the both equation 1 and 2, if we simplify this, then we get duty equals to 8.64 B by del. So it is the formula, we have to remember it, and from this formula we mainly get the questions in the semester exams. Okay, so all of you remember this. So duty equals to 8.64 into B, that is base period, by del. Okay, so next, that are following are the different factors that affect on the duty. So what are the following different factors? First is method and system of irrigation, mode of applying water, method of cultivation, time and frequency of tiling, type of crop, base period of the crop, climatic condition of the area, quality of the water and canal condition, character of soil and subsoil of the canal, character of the soil and subsoil of the irrigation field. So these are all the 11 points that you remember, the different factors that affect on the duty. So next, that is, what are the methods to improve the duty? So first, that is, it is suitable method of applying water to the crops should be used. The land should be properly plowed and labeled before sowing the crop. It should be given good tilth. All of us know it is the main, this is the suitable method for applying water to the crops. And before we sow the crop or before we plant any crop or any seeds, so before that the land should be properly plowed and labeled. Okay, it should be given good tilth. Next, the land should be cultivated frequently, since frequent cultivation reduces the loss of moisture, especially when the groundwater is within the capillary reach of the ground surface. The canals should be lined. This reduces the seepage and percolation losses. Also, water can be conveyed quickly, thus reducing the evaporation losses. Parallel canals should be constructed if they are two canals running side by side, then FSL, that is full supply label, will be reading in the chapter 3, the full form of FSL, HFL, all of this. So FSL means that is full supply label. Okay. So parallel canals should be constructed. If there are two canals running side by side, then the FSL will be lowered and the water losses will thus be reduced. So FSL means the depth of the water, we can say the depth of the canal, that from the hard soil to the depth of the canal, that is known as FSL also we can say it as. Next is the alignment of the canal either in sandy soil or in fissured rock should be avoided. The canal should be so aligned that the areas to be cultivated are concentrated along it. Next, that is the source of the supply should be such that it gives the good quality of the water. The land should be redistributed to the farmers so that they get only as much land as they are capable of managing it. The canal administrative staff should be efficient, responsible and honest. The operation of the canal system should be such that the farmers both at the head of the canal as well as the tail end get water as when they need it. Okay. So these are all about the methods of improving duty. How we can improve the duty methods, we can say it as. So first we can say it is a suitable method for applying water to the crops. Next, the land should be properly plowed and labeled before we plant any crop or before we sow the crops. Then the land should be cultivated frequently because the frequent cultivation reduces the loss of moisture, especially when the groundwater within the capillary reach of the ground surface. Next, the canal should be properly lined because it reduces the seepage and percolation losses. And parallel canals should be constructed. If there are two canals running side by side, then the FSL will be lowered and the losses will thus be reduced. Next, we can say that the alignment of the canal in sandy soil or any fissured rock should be also be avoided. The source of supply should be such that it gives good quality of the water. You can see in most of the areas or most of the villages areas, it does not give the good quality of the water. As it doesn't give the good quality of the water, then the crops do not grow properly or do not harvest properly. Okay. So the main necessity is that we can also say that it also gives the good quality of the water. The land should be redistributed to the farmers so that they get only as much land as they are capable of managing it. Okay. So the canal administrative staff should be efficient, responsible and honest. We can also say that many of the administrative staff should be efficient, responsible and honest because the operation of the canal system should be such that the farmers at both the head of the canal as well as the tail of the canal will get the water perfectly when they need it. Okay. So these are all the methods of improving duty. So these are from this chapter. We mainly know about what do you mean by irrigation, what are the types of irrigation, and mainly what are the necessity of irrigation, benefits of irrigation, ill effects of irrigation. Next, what are the types of irrigation that we followed mainly in India. Okay, so there are 4 types as I have already told in the previous class, that is subsurface irrigation, surface irrigation, drip irrigation and last one is sprinkler irrigation. Okay. So next, also we have read about duty, delta and base period. All of us know what do you mean by base period. It is a time period from which the first watering to the last watering of the crop, of any crop. Next is duty. Next is delta. Delta means it's the depth of the water to the crops. Duty means it is the area that we irrigate the land in one crop. Okay. So it is all about that, and we have also known about the derivation of the duty, delta and base period. We get the formula that is D, that is duty, equals to 8.64 B by del. B means base period and del means delta. So this is the D. We can denote it as hectares per cubic. Okay. So all of this, and next we have read about what are the factors affecting the duty, and also we have read about what are the methods that how we can improve the duty methods. Okay. So these are all about this chapter, that is water requirement of the crops. If any doubt arises, you can ask me. Thank you.